Hi, everyone. Welcome. Today is July 14th, Wednesday, 5 p.m. Pacific time, doing our regular weekly Q&A, taking your general immigration education-based immigration questions, not individual legal guidance, but just general education on TikTok, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Facebook, and everywhere else, so that you guys could get some, understanding what's going on in the U.S. immigration system. So we're going to start taking your questions as people start to trickle in. We usually get a lot. There's so many. I try to talk really fast so I can get to all of them. But more and more people are telling me I'm talking way too fast. So I'll try to slow it down, which means I may not be able to get to everybody. I'll get to almost everybody, but not everybody. If you want to continue talking, just schedule a consultation or come back next week. I also do a free video consultation, or 3 of them, for people who are watching. They like, subscribe, and comment that they like a free consultation. My assistant chooses 3 people, every 10 minutes, and we do free video consultation for 15 minutes. This is just for the people watching live. So that's something I want to give a heads up on. And if you're interested in a marriage green card case, download the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide at marriageimmigrationlaw.com. It'll definitely help you on your way. It's better than anything else that's out there. You'll really love it. Now, the first thing I want to talk about before taking the questions that are coming in is something that's very important that came to my attention yesterday. Because of the public profile I have and all the videos and clips and images that I do, there's a lot of content with my face on it, and I have some notoriety on the internet. And one thing that happens over the years every once in a while is someone acts like they're me with my image or my name or my website or various different things to try to get different things from people. The recent one is someone claimed to be me and that they could solve the immigration problems if they pay them a large sum. And it's come to my attention, potentially some people have been contacted by this kind of person using my image but a different name. But it's always different kinds of fraud and scams that happens. Unfortunately, it's not much I can do about it when the person's overseas and I can't get a hold of them, and there's not much I can do other than just letting you know, as an immigration attorney, if you're going to hire my office, if you're going to hire my office, I always do a video consultation with every client, unless rarely the client can't get the video part set up. And I always try to make the video available for myself on Zoom particularly, so you see me. And that way, because I want to have a direct relationship with my clients, I want to see how they look. So everyone works in my office, again, unless they're in some sort of very rare circumstances where they can't turn on their video, they're always going to see me. And so you'll know it's me if I'm going to be handling your case. So if someone claims to be me or use an image of me and wants money in a contract, but you don't actually see them, know that this is not really me, because we're always going to have a video consultation. You can expect that with me and my law firm. So that's a really important thing to avoid this kind of fraud from happening, to expect to be working with me directly, talking with me and viewing me. That's an important factor to avoid this kind of fraud from happening. So with that unfortunate news, let's get the program started. All right, everybody, thank you again for watching. This is a reminder, we do provide free 15-minute video consultations for those watching live. You just have to comment, like, and comment that you like consultation, like and subscribe wherever you're watching, and we'll be able to, try to have a raffle kind of thing for a free 50-minute video consultation. So we got some stuff popping up right here. Camila Justin says, hello, good to see you, and thank you for watching the program. Let me know if you have any questions. The next question that popped up, conservative immigrant says, I got a green card and I want to buy a rifle and go hunting. Thoughts from an immigration perspective? This is an important question that comes up a lot, actually. And the laws of this are very unknown to a certain point. Even the Supreme Court acknowledges that the laws are unknown. The only people who could have arms, guns, just for the sake of ease of it, in the United States are U.S. citizens, green card holders, and very, very, very few non-immigrants who get special permission from the Department of Justice and U.S. government. For example, if you're a person that's in the Olympics, you practice shooting, which is one of the games in the Olympics, and you're coming here for testing or practice training, you get a special permit for that. But everyone else, whether you're here without permission or you're on a student visa, tourist visa, or some other thing, are not permitted to have a firearm. It's in the federal regulations. It's banned. However, the way the wording is in the federal regulations, if you didn't know it was against the rules that you cannot have a gun, then it's okay. It won't be held against you. But if you knew, then it's illegal against you because of the way the wording of the statute and regulation in this regard. And this is something the Supreme Court has several times, especially maybe 6 months ago, a year ago, reiterated that this is the case. So for those that are watching have guns, now you know you can't have these weapons, give them away, or whatever the legal way to do it is to someone else or whatever it is. I don't know what that is exactly. But when you ask the question here, a green card holder wants to buy a gun, then that is legal unless you have some sort of state regulations, or you have criminal history, whatever that is. But from an immigration perspective, a green card holder can have a weapon, but a person who's not a green card holder citizen, except those rare exceptions, has to not touch a gun, not even go to a shooting range, has to completely stay away from the gun or the use of the gun, or it's an immigration violation and criminal violations if they're aware of it. All right, thanks so much for that question, though. Naeem asks, how long does it take for a U.S. citizen spouse to get approved for I-130 these days? Well, timelines vary. It could be a few months to a year on average. I'm seeing probably 8 or 10 months is what I quote my clients, but I've seen it go longer and I've seen it go much more shorter. Camilla asked, my fiance's in Haiti and I have to file for him almost 2 years ago in the state. The case is stuck in the visa center, National Visa Center. Yeah, I mean, it's a very unfortunate situation because of COVID and the shutdowns that happened. I had a consultation yesterday with a person who is also dealing with the Haitian case, and they were able to expedite it, but they had some sort of exigent circumstances, emergency circumstances, where it seemed that the National Visa Center is willing to expedite the interview. But under normal conditions, we're seeing these kind of delays all over the world, from Trinidad and Tobago. I had a consultation with yesterday, to Iran, to China, to Europe. The delays are extraordinary when it comes to most countries in the world for processing immigrant visas. And this is primarily due to COVID-19 and the slowdown and less staff working at the embassies, and all sorts of political situations on the local jurisdiction. So unfortunately, these are happening, and there's not much I can tell you. Waiting is the name of the game with regards to U.S. immigration at this time. Jair Toro asks, I received prima facie, what it means and what's the next step? Well, we don't really use that kind of jargon. Prima facie means they made the initial determination on his face that things are correct, but that doesn't get used in immigration. So I don't know exactly what's going on with your case. They may have done an initial review, it's okay, but you still need more review. So that's not really a question I can answer without reviewing your documents, see exactly what's actually going on and what step your case is at. Anastasia, a regular viewer, asks, can you give us a little insight on the Children's Act and if it takes effect of immigrants outside the U.S.? I don't know what the Children's Act is, Anastasia, I'm sorry, so I wouldn't be able to answer that question. Prati asks, hi, John, could I participate for a diversity visa lottery on F1 visa? Will it affect future non-immigrant visas? Okay, so the diversity visa lottery is the lottery system that we have, that the U.S. has. It gives up to 50,000 immigrant visas leading to green cards every year. Most of the time, no more than 30,000 people actually get the green card. But anyone can apply if their country's open to it. So if your country, you're born from in a country that has a lot of immigration in the United States, you can't participate. But for those that have lower numbers, they can do it, and you could apply for it on the F1 visa as well. Now, I think the worry that Pradi has is that if you do an act that shows you have the intent to live here, to get a green card is one of those. So maybe potentially applying for the green card lottery means you're trying to live in the United States, and that may mess up your chances of getting a future non-immigrant visa, temporary visa. So if you want to apply for a tourist visa and they say, well, you apply for the green card lottery, that means you actually want to stay in the U.S. You're not going to go as a tourist. Is that fear there? What we've seen in the past is if you had a family or employment-based case started, yeah, that could affect future non-immigrant temporary visas, like a student visa or a tourist visa. But applying for the diversity visa lottery, I have not seen that myself considered an actual petition or activation, and I haven't seen it become a problem for applying at the embassy or getting a visa and having a thing called immigrant intent. So for that question, I haven't seen it as a worry, and I do recommend most of my clients who potentially may want to move to the United States to always every year apply for the diversity visa green card lottery. Now, there's no fees for the initial application. If you type it in Google, there'll be a lot of websites that say, pay us, we'll do it for you, this and that. It's not required, but you got to be very safe and sure of what you're filling out in the application. So in the green card lottery, if you have a typo in your name, your date of birth, that could easily lead to an automatic denial. If you don't list all your children and try to list stepchildren and biological children, adopt children, all of them, if you don't list all that information, that could lead to a denial. And a year or two ago, they updated the rules where you have to have a valid password at the time that you file. So if you don't have a password by the time that you're submitting for a green card lottery, that's not going to work. So it gets more and more complex. This is a thing that was created so that people could do it on their own without a lawyer. But as all things immigration, it always gets more and more and more complicated to a certain point that it's recommended to always have a lawyer. But most people do not hire a lawyer for the diversity visa application process. Just be careful when filling it out and make sure you don't have some wild errors in there. So we have our first lottery, I'm sorry, not lottery, speaking of lottery, our first raffle winner for a free consultation for 15 minutes, and that is Jerry Tuai Figueroa. I think we answered your question. What was your question about, Jerry? What was your question? Well, I can't find it up, but Jerry, I received, that prairie fish. Yeah, so you get to talk about the question you have, which I couldn't answer here. Take a screenshot of wherever you're watching so I can see that it is your social media ID there, and email that to me at info@jqqlaw.com, my firm email, info@jqqlaw.com, and and I'll know there. I'll reply with a link to schedule a free 15-minute video consultation. Congratulations, and we still have 2 more spots left. So if you are watching this, you still have a chance to get a free consultation. Just like, comment, consultation, and subscribe for those watching live. In about 10 or 15 minutes or so, my associate will pick a random person and we'll get you that free consultation. Once I get your email, show that it's really you. And as a follow-up to that, if you are interested in a marriage green card case, a fiance case, the first thing you should do before you even call a lawyer is download the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide and read for yourself and get the knowledge for yourself so you can protect yourself first and foremost. And when you go talk to lawyers, you come in with control and grasp of the situation so you can properly assess whether the lawyer you're talking with knows what they're doing. Do that by going to the website marriageimmigrationlaw.com, marriageimmigrationlaw.com, and download the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide. All right, everybody, who's next? Inked Up asks, is the vaccine required to leave country at this point? So U.S. itself has no immigration requirements related to the COVID-19 vaccines. I can't say what the requirements for other countries are if you're going to go visit there or leave there, but the United States itself has no requirement to get a vaccine. Now, if you are come to the United States, you may need a test. You may need to show a clear test within a certain amount of time. So you got to study up, and we'll see what that is if you're going to be traveling. But the vaccination is not a requirement for the medical checkup for immigration, for travel to and from the United States. It has no part in the processing of any immigration-related situations anywhere in the world for U.S. I don't know about other countries, but the U.S. does not jump on that or have a situation with that. User 803 asks, I did an asylum after I filed for adjustment of status from I485, the green card case, and I got a work permit and travel document. Good to go my country. Well, I mean, why would you file for asylum after you file for your green card case? So I don't fully understand. I think what you mean is you got asylum, then you did I-485. So, I have to tell you what the regulations say, and the regulations say that if you're an asylee, you are not supposed to go back to your home country where you feared repercussions or use the passport of that country. So all I can tell you is as an asylee, the rule is you can't go back to the home country or use the passport of the home country. If you do, it may or may not be okay, but you risk being subject to problems at the port of entry or later on at green card renewal or at the citizenship stage. In general, I haven't seen them be too forceful about this. They're pretty lenient, but you never know. You could be one of the first that they're tough on. So all I could say legally is not to do something like that because the regulations say not to, but then each case is different, and this is just general immigration guidance. Namgala asks, I'm a green carder. May I adopt my sister's children here? My sister's husband is deceased, dead. If yes, what else need to document? Well, the adoption process for immigration is extremely complicated. Adoption itself varies depending on what country you're from and what rules they have set up for adoption. In some countries, if one parent is alive, for example, you cannot adopt them. So you need to get an adoption attorney to figure out what the rules are in that country where they're at. But secondly, for immigration purposes, the adoption has to be completed before the age of 16 years old for the children, I believe. Now, I don't handle adoption immigration, but suffice to say, timing is very important. It's very complex. Some countries have very difficult laws on it. So if you want to get started, you have to start it soon. But I don't know if it's going to be possible. And you're asking what documents you might need. This is just a way too complex situation to be able to answer here. You 100% need to have legal guidance and have the help of one or two attorneys, maybe adoption attorney and an immigration attorney, to see if it's possible, both of them working together. So suffice to say, it's not going to be inexpensive, but you will definitely need to get individual guidance on that one. Unfortunately, I can't say much more than that here. We have another question. Does it look bad if we file taxes married but filing separately when we renew the green card? Yeah, I had a consultation 2 hours ago about this situation where a lot of couples in the U.S. do this. They file their taxes married but filing separately because if they combine their income, married and filing jointly, the student loans repayment that one of the spouses has to do will all of a sudden go up because student loan repayment many times is tied to the amount of income you make, like 10% of your income. So if they get married, the income level goes up and the repayment amount for the loan goes up. So a lot of people do married filing separately. At the end of the day, you have to do what's proper for you and your family. The USCIS wants you to do it married filing jointly. Many officers will really make a big deal about this, but you have to overcome that by showing a bunch of other documents that show that you are a couple to overcome it. If you make the decision financially, which is not a bad decision, to doing married filing separately. So I don't like it. I prefer people don't do that. But at the same time, I don't want people to pay a bunch of money they can't afford either. So what you need to do is see what's best for your family. And if you're not able to join your taxes, you need to document as much as possible other aspects of your joint relationship to overcome any hesitation, overcome any disbelief the USCIS and immigration authorities have about your case. And so that's a long-winded answer, say you can, but be careful and document it as much as you can. All right, Mohammed asks, hi, I just finished our marriage green card interview. It went smooth, but it's been 10 days. The status says my case must be reviewed. Is it bad or something? What should I do? Mohammed, sometimes it just takes a while to make a determination. It could be a lot of different reasons. It could be the computer's broken and not working even. So what you need to do is wait. I usually wait 30 days and send a letter to the officer asking if I can be more help, and usually it's done by that time. If it starts going more than 30, 60, 90 days, then it's going in a bad direction. The interview may not have gone as smooth as you thought it did. But at this point, I normally just wait. But I don't know the details of your case. I'm not sure if there's some sort of legal error that comes up later that you weren't aware of. So I can't for sure say what you should do with your site. But with your site, their system gets to you. Sometimes one's shorter, sometimes one's later. We have no control over that. Paddy says, thank you. You cleared my doubt. You're welcome. God bless you. Paddy Amesh, I'm glad I could be of service. Camila says, thank you very much. You're welcome. Thank you for your question, Camila. I hope you're able to reunite your spouse. The Haiti is undergoing so much, just difficulties. At least you want to be able to help your spouse and get together, be here in the United States, have some relief. So I hope that works out fast for you. Sammy asks, how long is the wait time after you submit Form N14 when you gave you an N400 interview? So Form N14 is a request for evidence, essentially. So when you do a citizenship or naturalization interview for N400, and after the interview, they ask for more documents. The form is called N14 that they send to you. The questioner is asking how long to wait after you submit it. There is no minimum or maximum waits necessarily. It's however long it takes them. Legally, after 120 days after the interview, you can sue the USCIS for delaying a decision, but suing them doesn't mean it's going to get approved. We just have to see what's going on. Yeah, when it comes to any waits, most of the time there's no real answer. It's just whenever they get around to it, other than the fact that if you want to sue them after 120 days, you have that option. But if you don't sue them, you keep waiting if they're going to take that long. Thank you for your question, Sammy. Nanda asks, how long does it take to process an I-119F? I think you mean I-129F. I-129F is the petition you submit for a fiancé visa when a U.S. citizen, not a green card, only U.S. citizen could use a fiancé visa, or a spouse of a fiancé visa could be. They submit that. That is very similar to Form I-130, and it's taking between 6, 8, 10 months on average. But I have some get done sooner. I have some get done later. One thing for people who ask these kind of questions, I post my approval notices on Instagram for JQK Law Firm Instagram page. And so if you want to see my recent timelines, I do post them there. I think I posted one of for a fiancé visa. Let me go on Instagram right now, instagram.com/JQK Law Firm. And that fiancé visa was approved, let's see, fiancé visa, 8.5 months. So this couple, the U.S. citizen, lives in Kansas. We started his fiancé visa 8.5 months later. The petition was approved, the Form I-129F, and now we're waiting for the embassy portion to start. But unfortunately, the country they're going to be processing their cases in, the embassy is not doing interviews. So it's probably going to be a long time for them to actually move it forward. But for that specific part, The I want to know the first step in a fiance visa case. 8 months is the average, 8 to 9 months, sometimes 10 months, sometimes 6 months. It could go faster, it could go longer, but that's a general picture. But you just never know. Each case is so different. But thank you for your question, Nanda. One quick note before we go to the next question. We do have our raffle winner, Asmael Sayed 28. Thank you so much for participating in the free video consultation giveaway, the raffle. We're doing one more after this. Please take a screenshot of wherever you're seeing this live so I can see that it really is your username. Email that to me at info@jqqlaw.com. That's info@jqqlaw.com. And I'll reply in the next 24 hours with a link to schedule a free 15-minute video consultation. And frankly, they usually go longer, so it's essentially a full consultation, which I charge several $100s for normally. So you're getting a lot right here. Just email me, and we'll talk about your case and see what's going on. And for those who are interested in it, definitely take a look. Now we're getting a lot of questions also about how long things are taking. As you've seen, it's very hard for me to answer these questions because most of the time there is no answer. It's just like, wait. But for those interested in the fiance and the marriage green card case, download the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide. Even if you're not doing a marriage case, but you want to go through a green card process, about 90% or even 95% of the information in the Ultimate Marriage Green Card case guide is the same for every kind of case. I just made it for marriage cases because it's the kind of case I focus on. But you could all use it. Just go to marriageimmigrationlaw.com and download that right there. All right, next question. Haji follows up. What's the way to get a driver's permit with pending I485 K1 visa? Unfortunately, most states you can't, because when you want to get a driver's license, you need to have a valid EAD, employment authorization document, or a work permit. And without that, they won't. And some states will say if you don't have status, we'll issue green cards. I'm sorry, not green cards. We'll issue driver's licenses. But they may or may not do that with a person that actually has pending status. So if you just contact your local DMV or go to their website and see what the rules are. The official rules are you need to get the work permit, but some states allow exceptions so that you have to see what works for you. But most likely you're out of luck. And this is one of the major reasons that I don't, like fiance visas, because if you came in with a marriage green card, and not every case is appropriate to be married first, but if you came in with the marriage green card, as soon as you arrive, hopefully if the post office doesn't lose it, you'd get a green card and you get your work permit. It is a work permit, so that's right there. And then you go to the post office, you go to the DMV and you get your driver's license, and that's done. But with the fiance visa, you enter, you get married, then you have to wait 8-10 months to get a work permit and then get a driver's license. You don't have work permission during the whole time. You can't travel internationally. It's very disruptive. So the K1 visa, unfortunately, is very rarely the proper way to do a marriage visa kind of case. But it is what it is. Sometimes you have to. Thank you for your question, Haji. Appreciate it. One note I do want to make is that remind people that we're getting some unfortunately bad actors using my image to go out and try to find people for immigration cases, tell them they're going to win their case, all that kind of stuff. And then one thing that happens is all of a sudden they pay people like these fraudsters money using my image and take advantage of them and taking their money. I always do a video consultation with everybody unless they just can't do it, which is rare. So they'll see me. So if you're going to be hiring my office for anything, you will see me. You will talk to me. And if I'm saying I'm not going to do a video consultation, or when we're going to do an official consultation, you'll know it's not really me. And it's someone acting like me. So definitely don't give money or anything like that until you actually talk to me directly. It's really important. Now, one note regarding the free giveaway, our first winner, or maybe last winner, Asma said, I don't have an active case. I'm just watching. Thank you so much. So we're going to pick a second person. But thank you, Asma, for being so kind as to get a position. So we have 2 more lottery spots left. We're going to announce the second winner. And then before the show ends in 10 minutes, we'll announce our third winner. So if you want to win the Green Card Lottery raffle, subscribe and comment saying consultation. My assistant will pick somebody now in a few minutes, and then at the end of the show, and you'll get a free 15-minute video consultation, probably longer than 15 minutes even, and we'll go over a case. But let's go back to your questions. Wes Belfort asks, USCIS portal says, as of May 2021, fingerprints relating to your I485 application are in. How long do I have to wait for my work validation? So I get this question a lot. People saying, I did my fingerprints. When do I get my work permit? And I just have, there's like 50 videos on this, but the fingerprinting appointment has no direct relationship with the work permit being issued. You do have to get the fingerprints done first, but how sooner or later, after doing the fingerprints, the biometrics appointments, when the work permit is going to be issued, or excuse me, or when the green card is going to be, interview is going to happen or be issued, completely unrelated. So there is no answer for this question relating to timelines between biometrics and work permit or green card issuance. Madma says, thank you. You're welcome. God bless you. Marlon, hi, JK. Justin, hi, Marlon. One of our regulars. Appreciate you coming by. Good to see you again. Misty asks, if you worked on your spouse's business but never registered as an employee, is it employment, unemployed? Technically, if you work in a job that someone can be hired for, it is employment. And so for immigration purposes, if you don't have permission, that could be a violation. Now, what happens for unemployment or insurance, all that kind of stuff, I don't handle that. I just focus on U.S. immigration. But I tell people, if you do a job essentially that a U.S. person could have done, then that's a violation. Now, whether that's going to be a problem for your case or not depends on what kind of case you have. But it seems like if you were actually working there, you were employed for immigration purposes, and that could be a violation. The rest, employment law and unemployment insurance, I don't have an answer for that. I'm not that kind of lawyer. Sammy, yes, thank you. I need to make an appointment again with you. Sure, Sammy, just send me an email and we'll schedule a video consultation to go over it. 29 Super C, one of our regular says, good night, Attorney Khosravi. I must say, Attorney Khosravi, free consultation was very good. And I was happy to speak to you. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure speaking to you as well. It's really lovely connecting. I know you're a regular watcher, so it was really good seeing you, 29 Super C. I really hope for good news so that your case could finally be finished and the government could just hurry up, man, because I know you need it and you're in a bad spot, so I appreciate that. But God bless you. Thank you so much. Okay, actually, really quick before getting next question, we do have a makeup raffle winner. Camila Justin, thank you so much. You were chosen as the next free video consultation lottery winner. Just take a screenshot of wherever you're watching so that I know that it's you. Email that to me at info@jqqlaw.com, info@jqqlaw.com, and we'll send you a link to schedule a free video consultation, 15 minutes, and it might go longer. And we'll just talk about your case, see what's going on, if I can be of any help and guidance on that. All right, next question, Peaceful asks, I think Peaceful is regular too. I've hired a fresh graduate lawyer for my asylum case. He told me that he had never appeared in front of an immigration officer. Should I be concerned about his qualifications? He wrote a 3-page brief. I don't know if, the money is an issue. If only you could take a new lawyer than his new lawyer. You just want to make sure they're doing their research. They're talking with other lawyers that have mentors. I don't handle asylum cases, so I don't even want to make a comment on that. You just want to see they're dedicated, see their work, they go into the details. It's going to be hard for you to analyze what's needed because the standards for asylum law are very specific and sometimes very vague. So yeah, it's going to be hard for you to know. But if that's the only person you can hire, that's the only person you hire. Hopefully they're dedicated, they're doing the research, they're writing well, see what they wrote. Make sure you're prepared to be able to explain what your asylum case is on, what the nexus is between the state, and that goes into a little more legal jargon. But just make sure you do it right. Sometimes you got to hire. I worked for a firm for 2 years before I started my own practice, so I had more experience. So people hiring me originally were hiring my boss, and I was doing the work, but he was there to guide. The key is that this person just have some mentors, that people you can talk to, and if it's a guy, yeah. That's the best way to tell, but I don't really want to talk negatively with someone who's trying hard to get it going. They may be great. Sometimes you hire a lawyer, and this is just off topic, but sometimes you hire a lawyer who's been for 40 years, and they're too busy or they're so burned out from being immigration, and they'll suck and do a terrible case. There's people that are really famous asylum attorneys, and all they do is they have the same case. They change the person's name to some of the same thing to save time and save money for themselves, and they ruin people's lives. So it's not to say that a person's new. They might be more hungry and more dedicated. So it's very hard to judge really who's going to be a good attorney, who's not. There's this one investor I would read back in the day, and his dad was back in like 1950, like a top surgeon in all of Switzerland. And his dad would always say, if I ever get sick, don't take me to the hospital. Because I know, depending on how that doctor's doing that day, if they got their sleep or not, if they're fighting with their wife, if they had their coffee, they're either going to be a good doctor or not, regardless of what the reputation is. It goes to me. It doesn't really go to me, I would say, because I work hard at everyone, but it's human nature. It's just if you're hiring a driver, you might have a driver who's always the best driver driving you around, and one day they're tired, they fall asleep on the wheel and get into a car accident. So it's hard to judge and say who's better, who's not. Experience is, you want to have that. But if this is the person you hired and with your situation is the best person you hired, then it is just hopefully they'll do a good job and pay attention and get the mentorship and guidance that they need. But yeah, thanks for the question, Peace for All. It's a long answer I gave you. God bless. Jazz asks, hi, what is the cost or what do you think is an estimate of a green card for a child and adult? Thank you in advance. I can't talk about costs here, and reality is every case is so different. So some cases might be a couple thousand, some people maybe multiples of that. It's just not something to answer without reviewing the case. So unfortunately, I don't have an answer for that question. 29 Super C follows up. If one is waiting on an immigrant visa, can they visit the U.S. if they have a B1, B2 visitor visa? My thinking might be no, correct? Well, technically you can. Immigration lawyers will always tell you not to do this. That's a standard answer to give. But I've had so many clients, because what can happen is once you try to enter the United States at the airport, they may say, oh, you have a green card case pending. You're really coming here to stay. And they might kick you out of the U.S. and deport you or something like that, or give you voluntary withdrawal. So it gets kind of scary. So the answer immigration lawyers always was give is don't do it. But I've had dozens of clients over the years who didn't listen to me, and they came and they did not have any issues. So I've kind of made it more nuanced as I prefer you don't. But because even in your case, you might have an employment-based kind of case. If you come in on a tourist visa, they might accuse you of coming on a tourist visa with the actual intent to work, where you're not supposed to do that yet until the immigrant visa is issued. So I don't like it. I prefer not to, because we never know what kind of officers you're going to deal with at the airport when you're entering, and whether they're going to be difficult or not. And I don't want bad things to happen. But for the most part, I've seen people to be able to do it successfully. It's just, if you talk to the immigration attorneys, the first thing they say is no, which is not a bad answer. But I like to just give that the full perspective of it. That's better not to. Usually it's okay, but there's risks involved. So it's a risk you're taking on when doing that. Thank you for your question, 29 Super C. Haji says, thank you. You're welcome. God bless. Hopefully you get that work permit soon, Haji. Peace for All asks, a friend of mine has hired a recent license. We already answered that question. Peace for All, thanks so much. Love asks, where do you take a COVID-19 test in the Port-au-Prince, Heidi? I don't know. I'm sorry. That's a good question, but I don't have an answer for that. Marley 818 asks, JQK, Jake Jake, thank you, Bryce. I just received my biometrics notice from Marley, you're writing it off, from since July 4th. I've been waiting for 12 months. Wow. So you see his question. Biometrics notice, 12 months just came. I've never had a case myself take that long, but it's not really about me submitting the case or something. Sometimes these cases just take a while. 12 months for a biometrics is the same. They are starting to come a little faster. I'm getting in more close to 5 months now. For most of my career, it'll take a month or two to come. But I'm sorry to hear that, Marlon. That's wild. Taking 12 months to get a biometrics notice. Awful. Well, thank you for sharing that, though. Wes Belfort says, thank you, sir. You're welcome. God bless you, Wes. I wish you the best. TikTok fam asks, do we need to send a W-2 or a tax return for EB3 skilled? So the EB3 skilled worker is a case where employment-based, they're applying for a green card for work. For adjustment of status, unless you are co-owner of the company or you're related to that owner of the company in some way, you don't need to submit an affidavit of support from I-864. And it's the affidavit of support from I-864 that shows that requires a W-2 or a tax return. But for EB3, if you've been living here working for the company, for example, you might have had an H-1B visa, probably not if you're doing EB3, or maybe, you may need to show that you've been continuously working and not falling out of status. So they may ask for continuous pay stubs for a certain period of time. It may or may not, to show that no, you haven't continuously worked for the company. It's not that you violated one of your previous visas and all that kind of stuff. But typically, an EB3 will not need a W-2 or a tax return. TikTok fam asks, which good idea to send I-693 the medical checkup with the I-485 or wait for USCIS to send an RFE for it? I've asked this question many times, and we're at the end of the show. I'll answer really quickly, but I have a lot of videos on, if you go to youtube.com for a JQK clips page, I made clips of this, and it's there. And I also want to ask Haji Zubair, you are our winner for the ultimate marriage, for the free consultation. Take a screenshot, email it to me, and we'll set up a time to talk. And as a reminder, the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide, if you're thinking about a marriage visa case or a fiancé visa case, go to marriageimmigrationlaw.com and download that. But with regards to sending medical, if you're doing an employment-based case, which I think you're doing based on your previous question, I would send the medical along with the case so they don't ask for it later, because you may not need an interview. It'll be valid for 2 years if you time it right. But if I'm doing something like a marriage case where I know they're going to go for an interview, I try to wait later in time to do the marriage, to do the medical, so there's more time on it. That's a short answer, but I have a lot of videos on that specific thing. Let me jump through a couple of these. 29 Super C says, appreciate your advice. Thank you, 29 Super C. Love says, do they take COVID tests at airport? I don't know, Love. You should contact the airport to ask. On says, which is a good idea? We answered that. 29 Super C, JK, that's my green card for marriage. You have to know, should I do? Oof, that's not good. I can't answer that here. Maddie Jeremy says, I missed my green card interview through marriage. You didn't go to the meeting. You got denied. It's going to be really hard to fix that. That's terrible that you missed it. Definitely need to consult with an immigration in private. And the last question, how do you prove bona fides if you never lived together? Kareem, you got to talk with an immigration attorney, review your individual case, see what's going on. But thank you everyone for joining in this episode. We'll be back again next Wednesday, 5 p.m. Pacific time, taking your questions and giving out free consultations. I'm John Khosravi. If you want to schedule a regular consultation, email me at info@jqqlaw.com and briefly to explain the immigration issue that you have, so I know what kind of case it is. And I have a lot of different social media pages on Instagram, for example. We have a lot of photos of approval notices, so you can get an idea of timelines along with short clips of the information. Definitely take a look there. Thank you, everyone. God bless. Be safe. See you all next week. Bye-bye.